My name is Scott Watson. I'm director of the Morris and Helen Belkin Art Gallery, and I'm talking to Luis Camnitzer, whose exhibition we are fortunate to have here until December 4th. And I'd like to talk to you, Luis, briefly about your work. I would call your work conceptual art. Fully aware, I think, that that term has been broadened out partly to your own curatorial work and your own writing. Maybe you could tell us how conceptual art manages to be minimal, emotional, and political all at once.
Well, it doesn't. I mean, conceptual art is a post-minimal style, basically a formalist style in which slowly things were taken out, trying to find the soul or the spirit of art into a minimal container, and that's really something I'm not that interested in. I'm more interested in minimal input and maximal output, and which means that I'm not reducing myself to particular shape, form, or material, or lack of, but I'm more interested in how to activate an environment and people with the minimal stimulus, so that there's more room for resonance and more room for creativity on the side of the public.
That's a great formulation.
Thank you.
And I think it works. The exhibition is very powerful, very moving, and full of a sense of the politics of our time.
Well, I'm glad. I don't believe in declaration. I don't believe in sharing my opinions. I believe in manipulating the public to lead them to my opinions, but not to tell them. And I think art should really give the space for people to arrive at their own conclusions. And the artist only can govern it a little bit. But basically nobody cares what I think. And nobody should care about what I think. People should care about what they think. And I should care to help them reach the right conclusions, which are my conclusions.
Can we talk about a piece? Maybe this one?
Okay.
This is a piece where a professional sign painter has painted one of the rectangles and laid out the grid for you to paint the other. And then, when the piece is complete, the invoice of the painter will be on your section.
No, the invoice of the painter will be on his section.
Oh.
And I will make my own invoice. And the difference is that he is just a plain wall painter, while I am a distinguished artist. Therefore, the same image, the same labor in terms of time, and my crudity about it, you can see the spots and drips on my side, give it this personal touch, which is valued by the market. So my piece will be probably 20 or 30 times more than the painter.
Many of the works in the show comment, I think, very sardonically on the value of art and how monetary value is given to art, and how art is traded and circulates in our neoliberal, late capitalist society.
Well, I think that since the late 19th century, slowly art has become a mode of production and not what it should be, which is an instrument to shape culture. And so I'm trying to point that out. That is, again, try to have the public reach the conclusion that something went wrong there, and that fetishism and money was served, actually, the role of art by placing everything into the object as a container, and forgetting that it's a communication between artist and public, and that art is really not a discipline for making, but it's an area of knowledge in which you are allowed to make connections that are not allowed in normal disciplines. So it's an area of freedom and not of restriction.
Thank you very much. Can we look at works in another room?
Yeah.
This is the formulation of Theodore Adorno, sort of.
Yeah, possible. It's still left before me. Yes.
Now we're in a small gallery, so these works are installed rather tightly, but they're very powerful pieces, and they work together. This one is called The Voyage. The Voyage, and it's about the voyage of Christopher Columbus. The three knives are called after the ships, the Nina, the Santa Maria, and the Pinta. And it's about aggression and masculinity, and a certain kind of European savagery. And these prints, I think the context for people who don't know is that you began your career as an artist, as a master printmaker.
Yes.
And you are a very skilled printmaker. There's these three burn prints, in which first degree burn, second degree burn, third degree burn. I suppose by the curators putting these pieces together, this piece gives a certain resonance. And then over here, there's a beautiful, beautiful object where a book is open, and it looks like the book is full of water. It's called The
Memories of Water.
Memories of Water. Maybe this is outlandish, but maybe it's because Dick Cheney was in town yesterday.
Yeah.
When I'm in this room, I think of torture. So I think of torture by burning, waterboarding. I know I'm not supposed to. I know that the poetic range of these works is vast and multi-layered, but they also, I think, can also speak to any moment.
Well, I mean, I don't mind the interpretation. At one point is that the viewer so decodes at will and reaches the problem that was solved through the work. And as long as there's a good match, I don't care if the problem overlaps with what my intention was. But in that case, in the case of the knives, one of the propositions I had was, how do I put a maximum of information in the smallest symbol possible?
Yes.
Which is basically an issue of information. Like how in a musical score do you accumulate the maximum of sound effects in the smallest trace. And in some ways that is a parallel only with a political bent and trying to synthesize the voyage, synthesize the aggression, the violation, the rape, the missionary aspect of Christmas and so on. And this one in certain ways interests me less because I find it a one-liner in terms of tautology. I'm interested technically that suddenly printmaking could be burning and not necessarily ink. But the power you perceive is more in the narrative than in the art piece itself. So
I know.
It's not my favorite, let's say. But it's okay. And this one is a little bit the impossibility of, on many levels. One, of having water takes the shape of a book.
Yes.
Another one is playing with homeopathy, in which the infinite dilution of a chemical makes it more powerful in theory. And the other part is really the anthropomorphic aspect. What would happen if something we don't attribute rationality to starts thinking or starts remembering? And that becomes more mysterious for me.
Yes.
And I like mystery, although my work seems to be very rational. But I consider mystery as beyond the border of knowledge. And one of the functions of the artist is expand knowledge and incorporate that mystery into our everyday life.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.